Femboy69 actually wants to be more disciplined, be more productive, and do all the good habits that he's been procrastinating for so long. But no matter how hard he tries, no matter how many attempts he gives, he always falls off, always gives up. No matter what, he has to feel motivated to do the good habits, to stay productive. But then there's you, and you are a couple months ahead of Fimbo69, and you realize, you understand the importance of discipline, how important discipline is to achieve those goals you have set for yourself. Even on the days that you do not feel motivated, that you do not want to, you push on and you push forwards for your future self. So I have a close friend. I have a very, very close friend. He's kind of like my brother, right? We're a part of our little brotherhood tribe. And he used to be doing all the good habits. He had a very similar story to Femboy69. And Femboy69, that character I created, is just a younger me. So he used to be like me. And he was doing all the good habits for like months. He was doing cold showers. He was going to gym consistently and making a lot of progress. He was fixing his mental health. He was doing more than me. You know, he'd call me at 6 in the morning as I was barely getting up and he was already in the cold shower. David Goggins style, screaming at me, "Get up, stay on." He was doing so well. And then over a couple months, he fell off, became really, really depressed. His mental strength withered away, his consistency at the gym disappeared. He didn't see the point in doing all the good habits, such as meditation, focusing on yourself, cold showers, cold exposure, going out on runs, breathing fresh air. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, but the thing is I'm not. He fell off. He lost a lot of his discipline, ultimately his motivation. And the thing is, he's like me. He has a lot of goals in life, a lot of things he wants to achieve for his future self, but he knew that his lack of discipline was getting in the way. So we sat down and we asked, how can we fix the discipline? And that's the big question. How? Everyone who has been on the journey of improving themselves, whether it's on self-improvement, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's fixing your health, your mental health, your diet, this one big question always comes up and is, how do you stay disciplined? Especially when you don't want to do things, especially when you aren't motivated. And we sat down, we researched a bunch into this. We watched hundreds of YouTube videos, listened to a bunch of podcasts from different scientists across the world. We read a bunch of books, not online. He literally has like a full-on library in his room now of just hundreds of books where he's reading. We were sat down in this one coffee place, and I remember we were just sat there reading upon reading, learning, and also telling each other from our own personal experiences, from our own journeys, how do we become more disciplined? What is it that leads to us being more disciplined? And we found out, after literal days upon weeks of just basically researching, we found out what it was that actually led to becoming a more disciplined human being. And this is the secret, and it's gonna very much shock you. You're gonna be so controverted. Wait, is that the right word? Basically, you're gonna be torn in two, because what I'm about to say is not all as what you expect. Don't start big. Yeah, you didn't think I was going to say that. And I didn't think that this was going to be the answer. I used to think that, you know, when I was starting out my journey on improving my life and switching from the bad habits to all the good habits, just me reminiscing memories to the past, you know, over 2-3 years ago now. I used to think when I was starting out that discipline was all the really big things, like going to the gym 2-3 hours a day, 6 days, 7 days a week, starting a business from scratch, an online business, and building it up with your bare hands, one-man show, just you, and making it successful, or waking up every single morning at 6 a.m., 4 a.m. and going on a 10k run every single day in a shirt and just shorts, with a backpack with over 10 kg weights in. I used to think that that was discipline, that the big things, that's how you become more disciplined. Little did I know, I was so wrong. And I know why. Because even though, you know, when I was doing all this, when I started my own business, when I started going out on 10k runs, going to the gym consistently, and then after a couple of weeks I fell off, you know, and Rome, my close friend, also fell off. So he fell off as well. That was literal proof that that's not all it is to discipline. And do you know why? It's very crushing to my ego. It was very soul crushing. I had to sit down and like write on a piece of paper, you are not there yet. You try this, you will fail. And when I was failing, just writing down, you are a failure. It's very soul crushing knowing that I'm not at that stage yet. You know, my life, I used to be waking up at 4 p.m. in the day. So the whole day has gone by in a couple hours it's sunset again. And that's when I woke up to have breakfast. And I would stay up until 1, 2, 3 in the morning gaming or at a party drinking, clubbing, go to bed, and then go to work or repeat. That was my life. I was there. And then to suddenly get up at 4 a.m. and go on a 10k run and start going gym every single day consistently for 3 hours a day, and cold exposure and meditation and all of this kind of stuff, I wasn't at that stage yet. I hate to admit it. It sucked. It was very soul crushing, but I wasn't at that stage. I was nowhere near it. You know, it leads on to this analogy, which I love, the gym bench analogy. You know, if say your body weight is like, you know, you're like 60 kg and your usual reps when you're doing on bench, you know, chest bench on the bar is like 50 kg. You know, you'd usually do around 50 kg for a couple reps, and then, you know, someone comes by and puts on 100 kg. So you've now got to bench 100. Could you do it? No. You would look at that 100 kg, which is double of what you usually do, and you would be nervous. You would start to overthink. You'd be anxious, really anxious, like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not sure. It's a lot. But then if that weight was increased to a different number, say for example, someone comes by and puts on 60 kg. So you usually do 50, but now he's saying, you know what, you got 60. You got 60, 65. You're doing 50 for a lot of reps now. You definitely have 60. You would look at that with a much different mindset. You know what? Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, you know what? Fuck yeah, I got that. Suddenly you start becoming more motivated. It's the same principle. If you're trying to do all these ridiculously big things, really hard things, but you are living a life like I was, you know, waking up at 4 p.m. and not doing anything, and then going to bed, it's quite a big jump, and don't think I was ready for it, and I wasn't. And this is the big secret that my close friend, you know, Romeo and I found out from a bunch of research, and that is, and it's all out there, like it's a secret, but it's kind of well known to like the people at the very top, you know, like the top 1% people. Discipline can be used in everything. See, the literal definition of what discipline is doing something that's hard when you don't feel like it. What we then, you know, relate that to is the really big things, but that can be anything. You know, it could be me at 4 p.m. in bed, not wanting to get up, but then getting up anyway. That's a little bit of discipline I've just used. Maybe getting up at like 12 p.m. I really don't want to. I'm so tired. I'm comfy. I don't want to leave my bed, but I get up anyway. That's using discipline. As little as getting out of bed is using discipline. You know, my hygiene also went to absolute shit as well when I was basically being a degenerate, just going out partying, clubbing, and then gaming, or, you know, that was kind of it. I used to have a huge problem with hygiene. You know, brushing my teeth twice a day was almost an impossible task for me. Basement dweller uncle. I was in a dark place, okay? We're not gonna think about that. PTSD. But, you know, like brushing his teeth, for me, you know, actively telling myself, you know what, no, go downstairs, brush your teeth. That's using a bit of discipline. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. That was the same thing for you. You probably weren't as bad as me. You probably weren't like a full-on basement dweller. Like, you were probably a little bit better than I was. But maybe for you, that start is going out, driving to the gym. I really don't want to drive to the gym today. Or maybe you've just finished a day of work or school or college, which, you know, a lot of my audience probably is, you know, in university. Maybe after a day of college, you don't want to go to the gym. Oh, it's like a 10-minute walk, you know. I don't want to do it. I'll just take the 10-minute walk home instead. But then you turn around and say, no, take the walk. Go to the gym. As little as that is enough of leveling up your discipline. Any time that you do something that's hard but good for you, when you didn't want to do it, that's leveling up your discipline. Discipline doesn't have to be the massive, ginormous things. Because if you were living the life that I was, you probably aren't ready for that. I'm sorry to tell you, you know, it's very brutally honest to you. And like when I found out myself, it was very soul-crushing and ego-destroying. That might be what this video is doing to you right now. Your ego might be absolutely crushed, and I'm sorry if that's the case. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to give you this sort of soft boy, sort of kind of like really pathetic advice, you know, comforting you. I want to be completely honest because this is what helped me, and I really hope it helps you. You are not at that stage to do the huge things. If you were living a life that I was, if this video has related to you in any way whatsoever, you are not ready for that. You need to start off with the small things. And this is exactly what I told my friend Romeo. I looked him in the eyes and I asked him, like, what do you do throughout your day? And he told me, like, that he would get up and he'd forget, you know, he'd get up at 12 and, you know, midday, right? So it's not even the morning anymore, it's afternoon. He wouldn't do all the good habits he used to do, you know, get up, cook himself a good, proper, healthy meal, go into a cold shower, go down gym. He'd probably go down to have some junk food, some fucking donuts that was left there from the night before, not go to the shower. He wouldn't shower. He would then scroll on anime So he was he was a big anime watcher. Him and I were. So we both kind of gotten out of that. But, he would just watch anime all day. He would call me at like 4 p.m. after I've done my whole day. And he'd be like, gosh, man, Sean, I've done it again. I've just watched anime all day. And I asked him, you aren't ready. You're not ready to do the huge things right now. The big things. Going out for a giant 10K run. You're not ready. You just need to get back into getting up early again. Getting out of bed. Getting back into showers. Dude, your hygiene's got to absolute shit. I remember telling him this. This is what we had learned. This is what we had realized. Motivation comes and goes. It's really hard to control. Unless you're David Goggins. That man's a fucking legend. I don't know how the fuck he does what he does. But then again, he's years and years down the line. He's way further ahead than you and me. But discipline's not like motivation. You can level that up. You can actually improve that like a video game. A man conquers the world by conquering himself. Marcus Aurelius. Love that quote. Every single time that you are doing those little things that you don't want to do, you are leveling up your discipline bit by bit, step by step. All you have to do now is progressive overload it. This is what I told my close friend. So he did. He spent the whole week, a couple days, just progressively getting better, increasing what he could do. Okay, I'm waking up at midday. Let's try waking up at 10. After a couple attempts, he did it. All right, let's try waking up at 9 and 8. He did it. All right, let's try 7 and 6. He did it. Now I've gotten that back on. Let's try and get back into showers. He did it. Even though he didn't want to, he leveled up his discipline and went and did it. He kept on progressively overloading, just like the gym, like how you make progress in the gym. And in a week's time, he was back on track on all the things that he used to do months ago that he fell off. That's how quickly he managed to change it. I wouldn't have made this video otherwise. That's why this video is taking a little bit longer to come out, because, my friend's been going through this for a couple months and I wanted to help him. I really wanted to help him because he's part of my brotherhood. I wanted to help him and see that it works before I tell you guys. And I can tell you, hand on heart, it works. He's back. He's back to doing all the things he's used to before, and actually even better, he's now searching for his purpose and he's started his own journey. And I've lent him my old, camera equipment and my old microphone so he can. If you're watching this, man, I'm proud of you. I'm really, really proud of you. This is a bit of a longer video, but I was really passionate about this. Seeing my friend go from the top of the world, conquering himself, and then falling right back into the old habits again within the space of weeks and lasting like that for months. And then seeing him come out of it. It's the most inspiring thing ever. And seeing that in, firsthand myself, it felt amazing when he had gone out that rut. I really hope that this video can help you in some sense. As always, if you're struggling on self-improvement, you're struggling to make a change, to improve your life, because you don't know where to begin, this channel, I will give you all the resources, all the information from my own experiences to help you start your own journey. So subscribe if you want to see more like this. And most importantly, stay consistent and don't give up. Oh, I'm gonna just roll myself over to you. You know what time it is. Alright, come here. Someone prove a kiss. Mwah.